Jimmy, you said the other day that you don't like to be thought of as underdogs because you're a group of NBA players, but you did have 60-1 odds to be here. What is the identity that you do like to think of yourselves as if it is an underdogs?
A really good team. That's it. A really good team. Not going to say that we're any better than anybody else, but I just don't think that we're underdogs. I don't. So what that nobody picked us to be here? That's okay. Pretty sure nobody's picking us to win either. That's okay. But we understand that. We embrace that because at the end of the day, we truly don't care. We're just going to go out here and compete, play together like we always have, and see where we end up. But at the end of the day, we're going to do this our way, the Miami Heat way, and that way's worked for us all year long.
All right.
I respect that.
Enough stalling. Enough stalling.
Who's stalling?
Come on, have some courage. Have some courage. Be like me, have some courage. Pick the Heat. You know you want to pick the Heat. You know they won you over by beating up on your Celtics. Pick the Heat. Jump on this here bandwagon. I'm like Mike Leach.
Yeah.
You looking for a bandwagon? Jump on this bandwagon.
I'm gonna tell you this, Mike Smith. I've learned a lot during bubble ball, and one of the things I've learned during bubble basketball, NBA version, is that the Miami Heat are a really good team, and I did not think that coming into the playoffs. When they beat Indiana in the first round, I said, okay, it's Indiana. So what? Big deal.
Shorthanded Indiana. Yep.
They got my attention with Milwaukee, but not enough. I was wondering what was going on with Milwaukee because, I should have paid attention then because nobody, before that series started, nobody said, the Miami Heat really match up well with the Bucks. Said no one ever. No one said that. But they dismissed him in 5 games, and I know they beat the Celtics in 6. They really controlled the entire series. They controlled the entire series with the Celtics. Even the 2 games that they lost, they had control of that series. That series was played on their terms. So I have much respect for the Miami Heat, but I'm not going to pick them to win in the NBA Finals.
That whole preamble told me that you weren't picking them. that was your little, give them their props. Now you get to pick,
And even though you're going to think this is disrespectful, it's not disrespectful. It would be disrespectful if I picked the Lakers in a sweep. But
that's not
the Lakers.
Disrespectful.
The Lakers are going to win the series in 5 games.
Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5.
I've heard a lot of Lakers in 5 lately. I've heard a lot of Lakers in 5. Why?
And I kind of want it to be, I respect Miami, but I really want to get your attention. So I'm playing this out. You can see this playing out in real time. Maybe to get your attention, I say the Lakers sweep them. Because I just kind of want to grab you by the lapels and just let you know that there's, not only will the Lakers win this series, I believe this, what I'm about to say, there's no way the Lakers can lose this series. This Lakers team is very interesting to me. I saw someone, I think from the L.A. Times, compare this to 2004, like this warning shot. Hey, the Lakers in 2004, they had a star-studded team, and they lost to the Pistons. Stop it. There's no...
What was left of Karl Malone and Gary Payton.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. It was just it's a bad comparison.
They had names.
And, I just think this Lakers, I can't pick against the Lakers for many reasons. One of them, and this is probably like reason number 5, but I'm going to get to it first, because you would think that the Lakers are coaching themselves or LeBron James is coaching the Lakers. I know Eric Spoelstra is a really good coach, but so is Frank Vogel. And I think what Vogel has done, he's done a really good job of blending into that team, having some good assistant coaches, including Jason Kidd, some assistant coaches with high-profile players, and just kind of letting them do their thing. So I think Frank Vogel, he's always been a really good defensive coach, going back to his Indiana days. The Lakers are an excellent defensive team right now. So he's a smart guy, but he's probably not even the smartest guy on their team. If you look at the 5 smartest people in this series, coaches included, 2 of them are on the Lakers, and they're Rajon Rondo and LeBron James. So you've got a really intelligent LeBron James, and so you can't, it's almost unfair. You got the smartest player in basketball and the best player in basketball, the same guy, LeBron. There's no way he's going to lose this series, Mike. He has given everybody in the playoffs. There's no way. There's no way. It's not happening.
4 times. Woo. Man.
LeBron and the Lakers have given everybody.
Ain't no way. I heard you.
They've given everybody a game. Okay, there's one game, there's a vulnerability game that you can take from the Lakers. After
Probably
that,
game 1.
They've been pretty surgical.
Probably game 1. Yeah.
They've been pretty surgical.
Okay.
And I think that beyond that, and I don't want to just play to the emotions of, hey, it's LeBron James, he'll figure it out. No, it's the way LeBron is playing here. You used an analogy yesterday. You used the Stevie Wonder Prince analogy when you were talking about LeBron and Michael Jordan. All right, let's make LeBron Stevie.
Okay.
And this is his other championships. Let's say his second championship. That year they had I think that was the year they had the 27-game winning streak, if I'm not mistaken, perhaps. All right. His second championship, let's call that his Songs in the Key of Life. But this team,
his definitive work. Okay.
This is his Hotter Than July. That it is not seen as one of his 3 or 4 best albums, but it's pretty good if you go back and you look at some of the releases there. You've got, on this roster, you've got LeBron, second leading scorer, and Anthony Davis. And so it's easy, if you just look at it on the surface, it's easy to say they're a two-man team. But I think what I like so much about this Lakers team is that the roles are so defined all over the roster that there's no confusion about how the team works. I think it's a really good team. It's not a star-studded team. Like it's almost like Miami. Miami is a really good team, not a star-studded team. The L.A. Lakers are a really good team with 2 first-team All-NBA players, and I think they will be able to. So they'll look at Miami, see a little bit of a mirror, but they'll go away from the mirror because at the end of the day, hey, we got 2 guys that you cannot match up with, and that's what we'll see in the series. 2 guys you can't match up with. In addition to some of the things that you're talking about, being together and playing the right way, yes, they do that too. And, Mike, LeBron James, you want to talk about Eric Spoelstra? Who knows Eric Spoelstra better than anybody? LeBron. Who knows the Miami culture better than anybody? LeBron.
Yep.
So I think they'll be fine. They'll be fine. It's a 5-game series.
Okay. The Heat are better coached. They play better defense. They're a better shooting team.
Time out. Better defense? Where's that come from? Where's the better defense coming from?
They're a better defensive team. They're better defense.
Let me say is that anecdotal or this?
They're better.
Is that anecdotal or is that?
I like their defense better than the Lakers' defense.
Oh, okay.
I like their defense better than the Lakers' defense. And
what you just did there.
I don't have the numbers in front. I don't have the numbers in front of me. But statistically, I'd venture to say they're a better defensive team off the top of my head. Some researcher somewhere will correct me, I'm sure. Point being,
correct them.
What you'll find out by the end of this series is that once again, you will have done the whole more talented thing, whether you realize it or not. But the better team is going to win this series. The Heat are a better team. And that's one I've already – and listen, I don't know. And let me ask you this, though. But you said something earlier. Let's get off of the analysis, or if you want to call it, we just did analysis. Let's get off that for a second.
Yeah.
As a writer, I do want to talk emotionally to you for a second. As a writer, as a columnist.
Sure.
Because listen, perhaps I'm seeing this series through the prism of maybe I am getting caught up in the, whether Jimmy Butler likes to call him that or not, the underdog story. Maybe I am just super, super impressed with what they did to the top seed Milwaukee, who, as it turned out, may have been flawed, and Miami was perfectly capable of exposing those flaws. The Celtics, who weren't quite ready for prime time, I mean, Miami just played better in that series. So, perhaps my outlook on this series could be clouded by that. I'm willing to acknowledge that. What story, just as a storyteller, as a writer, what story are you more invested in? Because here's a weird thing. As much as I can't decide, people always say, like, who's your team? Like, who do you root for? I don't have a team. I haven't had a team really since I broke into the business. You know what I root for? I root for stories.
Yeah.
And I love this group of Miami Heat. I love how relatively quickly they've rebuilt themselves since LeBron's departure. Relatively quickly.
6 years. 6 years.
Relatively quickly. Typically, teams don't you don't lose a LeBron James in free agency, and then 6 years later you're back in the finals. That's why I stress relatively.
Okay.
The Jimmy Butler, I relate to Jimmy Butler. I relate to a guy being viewed as too intense and too, too tough on people, too demanding of people.
Yeah.
But then, in the right set of circumstances, with a culture that embraces that kind of commitment, now he's the glue guy. He's the guy that brings out the best in people. So I relate to that. It's my spirit animal, Jimmy Butler, in many respects, right? So
yeah.
I'm invested in these Heat. You know, these end of the lottery guys, and Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo and this collection of guys. But then this is the weird thing. And because I asked you the other day, whether Cam had made the Patriots
fun,
cool to root for, fun.
Yeah, right.
Like, man, I find myself. I mean, I've always been an admirer of LeBron.
Why don't you look down?
I find myself.
Why don't you look down?
I'm just thinking.
No. I said look down. Look down. Can you see your screen? Can you see some numbers on your screen?
I mean, okay,
what does that say?
What is that? 0.7. That's literally 7. That's for the season. Give me the playoff numbers, smartass.
Which number?
Whoever looked that up, give me the playoff numbers. That's in the season. They're a different team right now than they were at the beginning. Give me that playoff number.
Okay.
Give me that playoff number. Give me the playoff number. And again,
you want playoff numbers?
Just give me the playoff numbers. Just give me the specific playoff number. That's for 2019-20. The Heat are a different team. See, y'all got me off track throwing that. Pay attention to what I'm saying, okay? Listen.
Okay, go ahead. Don't pay attention
that says
to the
2019-20. So if that's the postseason. Wait, time out. Okay, if that's the postseason, put points allowed. Thank you. There you go. Okay, if that's the postseason. Great. Okay, fine, no problem. All right. So anyway, you got it. That's fine. You got it by 0.7 of a point, and that's just points allowed. That's points allowed per game? Give me points per 100 possessions, please. Which sophisticated basketball fans judge defense by nowadays. Okay, just give me that. You want to do it? I'll give you a research assignment. The lower third. Points allowed per 100 possessions.
Look at you! You arguing with Grant?
Give me adjusted field goal percentage per 48 minutes. Give me.
Hey, listen. Go change your shirt.
Give me some advanced stats.
Go change your shirt.
Give me some advanced stats. But wait, this is all I was going to say. I was actually trying to be sentimental. This is all I'm going to say. Now I'm talking too long. I just want to tell you what I'm feeling though. Is obviously the Lakers is a 32nd trip to the finals. LeBron's 10th. We have a tendency as a society, as a sporting society, to sometimes get tired of greatness and tired of reruns. We get, remember the old question, is it bad for the game, for this team to be there every year, this, that, and the other. So the Lakers are back. A lot of Lakers fans look at it as their birthright. And so they're not a team that a lot of people, even though they're a national brand, if you're not a Lakers fan, a lot of people will be like, oh, here we go. Now Lakers fans again. Here they go with another title, another trip to the finals. But man, this year, especially with Kobe, with Kobe's legacy as the undercurrent or as the overarching storyline, not just for the Lakers, but really the league, and there's a part of me that really wants to see them get it done just for Kobe, but also for LeBron. I myself rooting for LeBron and rooting for the Lakers, which is not something I don't think people typically do. Root for the same old to win again. Am I making sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense. I hear what you're saying about Jimmy Butler, because I think that is a good story. It's not the best story, but that's a good story from where I sit. A guy who has never been to the NBA Finals, and now he's going to be able to play on this stage and get the credit that he has never gotten, the proper credit. It's been pointed out. We were just talking about the Clippers, right? And the free agency, the chase for Kawhi Leonard and the chase for Paul George, even though he wasn't a free agent. They were going crazy for those two players. Jimmy Butler was a free agent. Yeah. His team didn't bring him back. They loaded up without bringing him back. So I do like that. I like that redemption story for him, where he has left places, he's left some bad franchises, and now they're all worse off without him.